Hey, I'm Tom. It is August 3rd, 2025, and I am 49 years and 51 days old. I was trying to see if I could remember when I made my first friends back in elementary school. I have a friend who's described as my oldest friend. Apparently, after I was born, my parents moved into an apartment complex, and there was a couple there who had also just had a son. And in that very simple way, we ended up becoming friends. And then we were friends for a while, and then we moved. And I'm told that's my first friend, but I have no memory whatsoever of meeting this person or attempting to get to know him. Similarly, I don't remember the friends I had at school. I don't remember meeting them. I remember them, but I don't remember meeting them or deciding we were friends or discovering that we were friends or working on the friendship. Sometimes people get nostalgic for that. That kind of, wouldn't it be nice if we could go back to a time when just because someone was around you, that was your best friend? It's like, you have a red truck, I have a red truck, best friends. Or dogs become best friends just by sniffing each other's butts. That kind of sense. Like, isn't that better? Wouldn't it be nice if that's how we made friends again? We just didn't need a lot from our friends when we were kids. We weren't really people. We had like half a personality and some thoughts and a whole bunch of stimulus response. And in that sense, yeah, if people were just around you, eventually some of those people would become your friend. There's people that I see when I go climbing that I now see regularly. I would say we know each other. While we're climbing, we'll often talk together or climb the same routes, hang out basically. I don't think any of those people would want me to describe them as my friend, and I don't think any of them think of me as their friend. We're clearly people who meet in a climbing gym sometimes and climb together. Could we become friends? Possibly. But I think it's missing a pretty key component, and that component is effort. When I was living in Victoria, I had a group of people that I played poker with. I knew one of them from work, and then some of those people were his friends, and he invited me along, and I played poker with them like about every Friday or so. And then I remember talking about getting married, and the person who I worked with, who also invited me to these poker games, said he's looking forward to the invitation. And I didn't give the best response, but I basically was like, I'm sorry, but you're not going to be invited. And he was offended in like a genuine way. And he clearly thought we were friends. And probably we were. When I think about it, we were definitely doing friend type things at a frequency that implied friendship. I'm not here to explain this or defend it, but at the time, all I had was that poker energy. What I mean is that was the only thing I could do with that group. There was no more. Like, that was it. That was the extent that I could engage with them. And because of that, it didn't feel like we were friends. Like, we were friendly. We got along. We played poker. And that was it. We didn't talk about our lives. I didn't really know anything about them. I met up with them once a week and played poker with them. What was missing for me there, and what I think is missing from the idea that you can just be in the same space as people and suddenly you're friends, is that essential component of effort. Just someone needing to try a little bit more at some point to push it over, to push it out of acquaintanceship, to push it beyond convenience. I think convenience, in a way, doesn't deny friendship. I mean, I think that can be the start of a lot of friendships. In fact, probably most of my friendships happen because I just happened to be in the same place as people for a certain period of time, whether I was working with them or going to school with them, or we were always in the same cafe on a Wednesday afternoon. But at some point, you do have to go into a little bit of effort. Something else has to happen, whether it's an invitation or a conversation that steers down an interesting path. You have to go deeper. You have to go beyond the situation that's happening. I feel like a lot of what we have right now in terms of mechanisms and models are centered around the creation of situations, of gathering people together, of connecting people in some way. And that gives the illusion that that's the hard part done, right? The meeting of the person is the hard part. The being in the shared space is the hard part. When I think the hard part is actually that moment right after that, when one of you has to decide, I'm going to do something that's a bit beyond what this situation calls for. And the other person has to receive it. And then where it goes from there is anyone's guess, but it requires that. And I feel like I'm seeing a lot of focus on the convenience part and not a lot of focus on, okay, what do you do after that?